The playoff eyes of the United Soccer League descend upon the Queen City for knockout soccer between the visiting Greenville Triumph and the hosting Charlotte Independence, presented by Novant Health, the official healthcare provider of the Charlotte Independence. Welcome one and all to this broadcast on ESPN+. My name is Mark Schoenster. We welcome you in, whether you're a League One fan or maybe a USL Championship fan who's getting themselves primed up for tomorrow's action. Here is the bracket in USL League One. The winner of tonight's match won't know where they'll be going for the semifinals, because that'll be dictated by who wins the matchup tomorrow between the Hailstorm and Forward Madison. We reseed going into the semifinals, but that's thinking about next week. Let's talk about the strengths of these two sides, starting with the home side Jacks. Look, when Greenville has the ball and Charlotte wins it back, keep close attention on where they go next, because they have the propensity to go direct, to go forward down the field with speed, with precision, and with effectiveness. They score a lot of goals in transition, in these counter-attacking moments. You see here these different videos, and it doesn't matter who's on the end of it, who's on the passing end. They all have the ability to deliver that nice pass, and they can all throw in that final punch to put in the goal. When you're on the attack, you immediately lose the ball. They can pounce on you. Greenville will need to be cognizant of that the entire game to make sure they do not give away possession in dangerous moments. But luckily for Greenville, one of their big strengths is their midfield, and they're going to be our players to watch, presented by Great Clips. Two of them starting, two of them could be crucial substitutions off the bench. Aaron Walker and Evan Lee, who have been starters for years now for John Hart's, will be sitting on the side to start the game, but could be impact substitutions on the other end. But there's so much talent here, and they're going to need to be stable. They're going to need to get the best out of their wingers, their strikers, so they're incredibly important to Greenville finding success on the road this evening, and could be the difference makers in this one. A point separated them during the season. A single state border stands between them, but tonight, Greenville and Charlotte are located in a singular place with one goal in mind: send the other packing en route to a semifinal. Lineups and kickoff are up next.
Always reaching higher, pushing further, achieving remarkable. At Novant Health, we never stop. Because whether it's sports performance at the highest level or the playground level, we're driven to help you excel at what drives you. Not just keeping you healthy for the game, but also healthy for life. Novant Health. Expect remarkable.
When it comes to delivering high-quality, affordable healthcare, relationships matter. And after 90 years, we're proud of the relationships we've built with you, North Carolina. We're collaborating with leaders like Vici, supporting her efforts to help schools address the mental health needs of students, and foster care moms like Gail, working with her to ensure our state's most vulnerable children are thriving, and caregivers like Maya, partnering with her to improve maternal health. From lowering costs to building healthier communities, we are committed to improving the health and well-being of everyone across this state. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina is not your typical health insurer. We're 5,000 neighbors, friends, and family working hard to make healthcare affordable, easier to navigate, and accessible for all. North Carolina is our home. We're here for you, all of you.
Tonight's match is presented by Novant Health, the official healthcare provider of the Charlotte Independence, as we welcome you to American Legion Memorial Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina, for a Carolina clash between the Independence and the Greenville Triumph. If you were wondering earlier, where's a player to watch for the Charlotte Independence, we've got that covered for you. Gabriel Oberton, the veteran who has played over in Europe, has played with the Jacks for a couple years now. He is our Great Clips player to watch, and he's also their lone goal scorer from their last season in the playoffs in USL League One. A fantastic strike. They may need that from him here this evening. And here is the rest of the starting 11 for the Charlotte Independence and Mike Jeffrey's side, brought to you by Capelli Sport. It's what they've been trotting out recently. Worth noting, Fabrice Nga filling in to that left back spot, which means Avion Flanagan gets the push up forward. A very dynamic player, Flanagan. So may get to see him get more and more involved in the attack, with Tracer Mbuyu slipping up top in place of the likes of Dane Kelly, who's on the bench. Meanwhile, for the Greenville Triumph, running with their 3-back system, Noah Pilato sitting in that 6th spot in favor of Evan Lee, who's still recovering. Meanwhile, Aaron Walker also on the bench, which is important. But Devin Boyce, John Harks had a lot good to say about him in his performance against Lexington last weekend. So they'll be needing him to carry a lot of the weight here this evening in the middle of the pitch. A lot of playmakers on both these teams, and that's what you would anticipate. If you've made it to the playoffs, you've had a pretty good season. Here's our injury report brought to you by Novant Health. 2 pretty important players for these sides missing. Clay Dimmick, who's been out for quite a while, and Tevin Shaw, who is still quite a bit out too from finishing his recovery. So do not expect to see either of them trotting out onto the pitch this evening. Or I would even say for pretty much the rest of the playoffs, for that matter. Waiting for the official, Thomas Snyder, to get us started. And the USL Pro postseason has begun. The Greenville Triumph and the Charlotte Independents. Once again, we welcome you in on this broadcast. My name is Mark Schoenster. Excited to get into postseason play here. It's win or go home at this point. Both of them looking to push ahead to the League One semifinals next weekend. Charlotte, side that has some history to them, and now on the attack here. Here's Joel Johnson, a veteran for the Charlotte Independence team. Sends in the cross, and it's into the hands of the young Jared Mazzola, 24 years old, from Katona, New York. Got the starting job at the beginning of the year. Was in competition for that role. And then became his before week 1. And he has started all but 1 game this season. He's demonstrated a lot of growth throughout the year. Let's take a look at our keys to the game now for these 2 sides, brought to you by Resident Culture. For the Independents, they want to use the width of this pitch to try to shake Greenville out of shape. Find some creases to slip through. It's a very disciplined side defensively, Greenville. So Mike Jeffries knows they're going to need to be very good about finding that moment of opportunity. Meanwhile, for the Triumph, they're going to have to be aggressive. This is a Charlotte team that knows how to score, which means Greenville's going to have to match up with them on their intensity, but they cannot give the ball away carelessly and find themselves out of structure, because then what we talked about in the open can take place. That direct attack, you're caught on your heels, and Charlotte are more than capable of punishing you in those moments. Noah Frankie going down, but the ball is falling back to his feet. There's Boyce. Sends that one forward for Frankie. He gets by Ibarra. And that one deflecting off of Sis and into the hands of this league's saves leader in Austin Pack. 116 saves this season, which is a league record. Both goalkeepers with fairly easy introductions to the game. Now go all the way across to Mazzola. Ever wanted to see a professional locker room or hang out with a pro player? Here's your chance. Our group outings will give everyone an unforgettable night with a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Visit charlotteindependence.com for more details for the 2024 season. Boyce plays this forward for Frankie. Frankie strolling down this right-hand side. Trying to get by Flanagan, but won't be successful. It'll be a free kick for the Independents, and they'll take it immediately. Johnson connects with Tracer Mbuyu. Sharon DA on the ball now. He's broken into the starting lineup recently after recovering from injury. 24 years old. Acosta sends this one forward. Cleared away. Brandon Fricke. His 4th year as a center back for the Greenville Triumph. Usually paired up with Evan Lee. Now this season, things have changed a little bit, and Lee has been pushed into more of a holding midfielder role this season. Oberton sends this one in, headed away by Smith. And Alan Gavilanyan provides clearance. And that one deflected out for a Jacks throw-in. Super League Carolina kicks off in August 2024, bringing Division I women's professional soccer to the Western Carolinas. Help choose the club's official team name, scan the QR code on the screen, and place your vote for either the Carolina Ascent or the Carolina Breeze. Voting is open today through October 27th. Follow Super League Carolina on social media for updates, news, announcements, and more leading up to the club's full brand reveal later this fall. It was a 1-1 draw last week here at American Legion Memorial Stadium to close the regular season for the Jacks. They were up against Tormenta, a team that was desperately trying to sneak their way into the playoffs. Talking to Mike Jeffries this week about it, he said it feels like it's been about the last 8 games, with the exception of the Omaha match, that they've been up against a team that is sort of in their last chance saloon, or playing with a lot of desperation. And he mentioned that it's actually pretty good mentality-wise, because they got prepared for the intensity of the playoffs through those matches, because those teams were not messing around when they were matched up with the Independents, who are sitting slightly more comfortably than their opposition at those times. He felt Tormenta was all over his side to start off the match, but then they settled in. Here's Coutinho, trying to slip it through to the veteran Leo Castro. And it's cleared away. Will be a Greenville throw. Hector Acosta, the one who cleared it away. Here's a look on your Activision LASIK replay. It was actually Acosta the one who was colliding with Castro. Flanagan provides the clearance. Tyler Pollock plays it over the left-hand side. Gavilanyan into the 18, and that one will deflect out. It should be our first corner kick of the evening. Mentality's been good this week for the Greenville Triumph in training. John Hark said that the big focus has been on maintaining their shape at all times, and in his own words, to counter their counter. When we get the chances, we need to punish. There's Noah Pilato from the left flag. Drives this one low, and it's Gabriel Oberton who gets a touch on it, but it's given to Coutinho, who had a swing at it. Ball is serviced in again. Still headed up, and Frankie brings it down. Now Boyce threads it down the middle. Labovich shoots. And it's off target. A couple appeals for offside, but ultimately it's a goal kick, so it won't matter either way. This one popping up everywhere. Boyce doing well though. Go right down the gut. And Jacob Labovich, the second-year pro, trying to put the visitors up top early, but couldn't put it on frame. Labovich, one of the couple of players John Hark's listed as guys who are more than capable of scoring and have proven that ability throughout the year. Johnson tried to track this one down, but Fricke will slide it to a corner kick. So after a first corner kick of the evening for Greenville, it'll be the first corner kick of the evening for the Independents. Carolina Reapers watching from afar. He'll be hoping for a spicy playoff matchup tonight. At least that's what we're hoping for here on ESPN Plus as we get our first Chick-fil-A corner kick of the evening. Service comes in, headed away by Fricky, the same man who escorted that one out for a corner. Here's a chance for Greenville breaking away. Castro sends it over the right-hand side for Labovitz. He has two bodies to his left. Labovitz back inside. It's behind Leo Castro. Although we highlighted the Independents and their ability to counter and to be direct, Greenville also more than capable of doing that. Mike Jeffries pointed that out by talking about what his side needed to be careful about playing against Greenville. Vans Aquafina is the official water of the Charlotte Independents. When the game heats up, cool down with Aquafina. Ball headed away. Consecutive headers here, but it's Mbuyu who comes down with it. He gets that one to come off of Jamie Smith, which means it'll be another Chick-fil-A corner kick. Everyone for Charlotte this week in training is excited. Like Jeffrey said, you work hard all season, and of course, that gets exhausting, but he felt his guys got a boost of energy knowing they got to play at home this weekend. He felt that here at this home pitch that he could shake Greenville out of shape. Labovitz gets upended, and a whistle is going to be blown by our head official, Thomas Snyder. It'll be a free kick for Greenville. Here's a look at that again. You see Ibarra went in for the challenge and then tried to sort of withdraw himself, but he was right where Labovitz needed to land. A clunky collision there. Oberton with a great ball to Mbuyu if he can keep it in play. Tracer Mbuyu plays it back to the top. Oberton collects it. He's got some range to him. Oberton takes the shot, and it collides wide. 34-year-old Frenchman Gabriel Oberton. He's proven in times past that he can let it fly from beyond the 18. You see the urgency in Devin Boyce the moment he realized who was on the ball with that much space around him. Scrambled to make sure he didn't have enough time to wind up properly. Omar Sis doing well to win the ball back in, traversing through traffic. Now Boyce going forward. Here's Gavilanes, getting by his man. Gavilanes! It's a fantastic strike! In the visiting Greenville, strike first. A man usually on the assisting end, Alan Gavilanes, rips it off the crossbar. Devin Boyce maybe put that too close for Nga, but he couldn't collect it. Gavilanes says thank you very much. Slides into the 18. Actually doesn't even get there. And outside the box, rocket. Just had one goal all season. 8 assists, which tied him for third this year. remember talking to John Harkes after he scored that goal against the Richmond Kickers about how relieved Alan Gavilanes was to get on the scoring end. I'm sure that one felt doubly as good. And in these playoff games, sometimes it's only a goal in a single moment that's the difference in a match. Sometimes it can be really cagey affairs. Everyone's tight, making sure they're not the ones making the mistake, which results in not a ton of huge chances. And of course, the Greenville Triumph more than familiar with the art of the 1-0 win. Now, that hasn't been the case this season, but the postseason is always new ground, a chance to sort of reestablish yourself. Here's Joel Johnson looking for a response, and he could keep that one in play. So we're gonna get a goal kick here. Select the official match ball supplier of the USL League One and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit www.us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Alan Gavilanes is the goal scorer from North Plainfield, New Jersey. It's his third year with the Triumph, and each year he's taken an extra step forward. You could see the potential in 2021. In 2022, he became a great provider, and then this year he's turned into a complete player who not only is viable attacking-wise, but is also great tracking back and being a pest on the defensive end of the ball. There's a long ball forward. Headed upward by Spielman. Jacob Labovitz tussling with Avion Flanagan, using that physicality. It's a big guy, Jacob Labovitz, but so is Avion Flanagan. Using the back of his heels to get that one out of there. And DA to Ibarra. Miguel Ibarra crosses this one. It's Oberton. An elegant touch to Johnson. But they're finding themselves closer and closer to that touch line. And DA plays it over to Flanagan. Throws that one forward. Charlotte trying to apply some pressure now. Oberton. That one's behind Ibarra. Castro, who's back defending. Talking about Charlotte, John Hart said it's a side that's done really well this season. They score a lot of goals, and that's partially because they have the talent to do it across the board. 15 different players have scored goals for the Independents this season. And Mbuyu trying to get by Smith. Jamie Smith doing really well, though. And DA. All the way back to Nick Spielman. Transitional moment to be a key component in the match. John Harkes was saying, he mentioned, can we slow it down when Charlotte wins the ball? And also, can they take advantage of those moments where Charlotte commits numbers forward and maybe give them a taste of their own medicine on the counter? Grab some new gear for the next Independence game with scarves, hats, shirts, and more. We have merch for every Independence fan. Head over to store.charlotteindependence.com to find your next piece of Jack's gear. Meanwhile, Mike Jeffries talking about Greenville. He said they're a team that's so organized defensively. They don't make mistakes, so we have to take the little wiggle room they give us. Mentioned earlier how he wants to take advantage of the width of the pitch, and we're seeing it already a little bit here in the first opening 20 minutes. It's a series in this season. Greenville has won 2 of the 3 matches, including one here at American Legion Memorial Stadium. So this is not an Independence team that is unaware of the threats that the Triumph pose and now find themselves down a goal in front of the home crowd. And Alan Gavilanes belter from outside the 18. The difference in this one so far. Coutinho loses that one, but it falls back to Pilato. Pilato, another player that I think fans are just happy to see playing this year, and boy, has he played after struggling with injury the past 2 years. Pilato played every single match this season for the Greenville Triumph, starting all but one of them. It's fantastic to see a guy back to health, and not only that, but being an impact player on this team. I mean, you've got to earn your minutes. You can't just have them handed to you. Castro going forward, finds Coutinho. Lucas Coutinho to his left, dancing around, gets it to Labovitz. And now the offside flag goes up. Jacob Labovitz just sitting behind that line. Ask John Harkes about how much does preparation change for a match when you know that it's do or die, win or go home. He said, for us, it doesn't really change much at all. They approach going into every match as if it's a must-win game. Castro does everything he can to keep that one in play and ends up winning what looks to be a free kick. Triumph set piece here. Surviving and advancing requires the same qualities that it takes to get to the playoffs, to win games throughout the season. As we look at this little exchange here on the Activision LASIK replay, Nick Spielman, a little shove there on Leo Castro. Noah Pilato, the same person who delivered the corner kick earlier, to send in this free kick from the right channel. This one dips down, and they're going to say contact on Jamie Smith will mean a free kick for the Independents. 2024 season ticket packages are on sale now. Join Charlotte's first men's professional soccer team as we celebrate 10 years on the pitch. We'll honor our club's rich history and set a new course for the next decade of unmatched soccer experiences at American Legion Memorial Stadium. All 2024 season ticket members, benefits, packages, and pricing are now available at charlotteindependence.com. Of course, there is a world where this isn't the final home game of the season, but that would require not only the Jacks to come back from 1-0 down, which is easily plausible, but then also going on the road next week and winning, and also hoping that Madison goes on a bit of an underdog run as the lowest seed in the tournament and making it to the final. Not going to play advantage. Miguel Ibarra a little bit upset by that decision by Thomas Snyder. Here's a look at that bracket we took a peek at earlier. Worth reiterating, reseeding into the semifinals, so the winner of this game is not guaranteed to play North Carolina. As a matter of fact, if you want to go by the odds based on the seeding, Northern Colorado, the highest seed here in the quarterfinals. So if they win, they would go to North Carolina guarantee. There's no world where they are traveling to Omaha. That's not to suggest that Ford Madison is incapable of pulling off a victory on the road tomorrow night. Service comes in, and it's headed down and away. Jacob Labovitz, the one who made contact on that ball, but it'll be a Chick-fil-A corner kick. And the Independents will be looking for a response goal in front of their supporters. 10-2-4 at home this season. Flanagan drives that one in nicely, but a good square header from Leo Castro. Flanagan again to Oberton. Gabriel Oberton tried to slide that one in. It'll be another corner. The Jacks knocking on the door. Good sliding effort from Brandon Fricke, the 31-year-old Iowan. Another Chick-fil-A corner kick. Flanagan sends it in. This time it's Pilato on the end of it. Ibarra sends this one in, and Jared Mazzola springs upward to get it over top of his teammate. He gets a high five from Jamie Smith for it. Pepsi Cola is the official soft drink of the Charlotte Independents. Enjoy an ice-cold Pepsi while watching the Jacks. Pepsi, born in the Carolinas. And you're watching a Carolina showdown here between the North Carolina and Charlotte Independents and the South Carolina and Greenville. Right now, it's in favor of the Southern visitors. Alan Gavilanes with one heck of a shot in the 13th minute to separate these two sides. Frankie doing well there to keep it in play. And now he'll launch it down the pitch. Castro drawing contact once again. Another free kick for the Triumph. Here's a look on the AccuVision LASIK replay. Avion Flanagan came gashing in. Jamie Smith, the one sitting behind the ball. And he'll switch action. Gavilanes is the one who brings it down. Now Pilato will trot forward. The goal scorer Gavilanes does everything he can to keep it in play, but it will roll out for a goal kick. The Lodgebach experience is an all-exclusive with 16 tickets, catering, credit, parking, and all-season ticket member benefits. Be sure to secure the best seats in American Legion Memorial Stadium the 2024 season at charlotteindependence.com. Tracer and Mbuyu tried to slide that one forward. A couple of slipping contacts with the ball there. It's Greenville who end up with it. I mentioned the successful home record for Charlotte, but Greenville have a better record on the road than they do at home this season. 6-6-4 at home, 7-4-5 traveling. All time, they're 4-2 against Charlotte. Now the Independents have a 2-1 edge when they're playing here in American Legion Memorial Stadium. Greenville with the opportunity to level that series here, but of course, more importantly, advance on to the semifinals. Coutinho trying to wind around Flanagan. And after a lot of contact, it'll be no danger for the home side. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesday nights at 7 Eastern. Plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, English Premier League, and more. All on Sirius XM FC 157 and the SXM app. Johnson drives this one inside, headed away by Smith. It's Oberton once again. He played that one too far ahead of Ibarra. Now Acosta has to be smart with that ball, and he does so. Finds Fabrice Nga. Omar Sis also has the ability to shoot from distance. Didn't have the space, an opportunity to do it so there. Those are definitely two names, though, as far as the independents are concerned, that you want to keep an eye out on when they're sitting with the ball outside the 18. Gabriel Oberton and Omar Sis both capable of letting one fly. And DA gets it right back from Oberton. Miguel Ibarra with the captain's armband steps forward, but his touch was too heavy. Nice back heel, and Mbuyu with the half volley, can't put it on frame. It took some invention for the ball to get to Tracer Mbuyu, but the ask was a little bit too high. Joel Johnson doing what he could to set up his teammate on the Activision LASIK replay. If you're looking for a little Greek, a little Southern, and always fresh, enjoy a great meal at your local Show Mars. Johnson threads it forward for Oberton. He tried to give it right back, and now Devin Boyce will knock this one out of danger. Slowing down of the pace here for the independents. Side that's been pretty solid throughout the year. Greenville had their run-ins with adversity this season, especially early in the year with the amount of players they had injured at the start of the season. We're missing so many key pieces and did not start out of the gate on the right foot. It's also been a bit of a challenge recently. I asked John Harkes about how the adversity they faced this season has better prepared them here for the playoffs. And he said, look, the leadership out on the field and day-to-day has been strong all season. And he talked about how recently the away trips to Chattanooga and Central Valley in the same week really tested his guys, and he felt they proved themselves, getting 4 points in those two games. As Nga brings it forward, and Nga shoots, and it bounces wide. Fabrice Nga, the Cameroonian, one of two players who's played the least amount of minutes out of anybody on the pitch this season. It's him and Bashir and DA for the Independents, who both have under 600 minutes played this year. Trying to be the goal leveler there. Has one goal this season for Fabrice Nga. Every game brings a different challenge. We have a strong foundation to rely upon. That's what John Harkes was telling me about how his side feels now after overcoming those hurdles. Johnson plays it over to the right-hand side for Ndie. That ball had a lot of juice underneath it. I'll go out harmlessly for a goal kick. 30 minutes over transpired. The difference in this one, and Alan Gavilanes shot off the bar and in. Greenville looking to go to their 4th USL League One semifinal. They're the only team in the league's history to qualify for all 5 years of postseason play. The only other team that can really compete with them is Union Omaha. We're not around for 2019, but in their 4-year history have made it to the playoffs every single year. And DA walks it forward, assessing his options, then plays it out to Flanagan. Avion Flanagan gets tripped up by Coutinho. Whistle blows, and it's a free kick in a dangerous spot. And also our first booking of the evening. Lucas Coutinho with his 4th yellow card of the season. That yellow card brought to you by 11 Lakes. Here's a look on the Activision Lasik replay, and not a ball anywhere in sight for Lucas Coutinho, and he immediately shakes his head. He knows he had done wrong. And now with 10 minutes to go in the first half. Good spot for a set piece for the Jacks. Flanagan and Johnson sitting by it. Johnson with the delivery, and it's Jared Mazzola. Gets his clutches on it. This one up nice and high. Frankie playing it back to Fricky. Pollock does what he could to keep it in and glances it off of Tracer and Mbuyu. Right in front of the Greenville contingent, you can see smatterings of green over there. The Reedy River Riot flag dangling from the bar. That one goes out for a Greenville throw. eFootball 2024 is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. It's free to play. You can download it now. There's John Harkes, former U.S. men's national team player. Fifth year in this Greenville project, been the coach this entire time. His adversary, Mike Jeffries, I asked him about what can change when you're playing a playoff match, and he said these games have the potential to get a little crazy. And here's a chance for the Independents, but that's a great sliding effort and a gutsy one from Lucas Coutinho, who's already on a yellow card. You have to get that one right. Here's a look on the Activision Lasik replay. Lucas Coutinho. A crucial challenge, but one that can make you hold your breath. Pilato surveying his options, curls it to the right-hand side for Castro. It's him and Nick Spielin. Leo Castro opts to slow things down and play it back to Frankie. They'll tap it over to Fricky. Smith slides that one up the pitch to Gavilanes. And he slips by Nga. Alan Gavilanes once again plays it inside. And Leo Castro couldn't put it on frame. Alan Gavilanes having his way over here on the left-hand side. That was the trait that Alan Gavilanes first displayed that made you catch your eyes, just how slippery he can be when the ball's at his feet. He can take a guy one-on-one and have them chasing ghosts. A little inaccurate there from Castro, but Pilato was ready for it. Long ball forward for Labovitz. Knifed down by Nga. Here's Ibarra. Forward for Mbuyu. Tracer Mbuyu. Couldn't get it by Polak. And now Smith will clear it out of play, but a whistle blows. A foul and a free kick for the Greenville Triumph. Devin Boyce clutching his left boot. It's that challenge right there. Stepping in was Mbuyu. Super League Carolina kicks off in August 2024, bringing Division I women's professional soccer to the Western Carolinas. Help choose the club's official team name, scan the QR code on the screen, and place your vote for either the Carolina Ascent or the Carolina Breeze. Voting is open today through October 27th. Follow Super League Carolina on social media for updates as this one slips through for Labovitz. Cleared away, and ultimately it'll be a free kick, but some words being exchanged there between Jacob Labovitz and Avion Flanagan. Thomas Snyder will have some words for the two of them. Both of them went tumbling. And Flanagan immediately going towards Labovitz. Shake hands and look each other in the eye with a nod. Two competitors, as that's what you're hoping for. Worth mentioning, you can follow the Super League Carolina on social media for updates, news, announcements, and more leading up to the club's full brand reveal later this fall. Devin Boyce showing some energy here, springing a chance for Greenville. Boyce over to Labovitz. The Hokie plays it back to Lucas Coutinho. Here's Frankie. Coutinho can always be so elegant with the ball at his feet. Lucas Coutinho still going forward. And it's immediately, or eventually, excuse me, stepped on by Hector Acosta. Fricky getting there a fraction sooner. Now a free kick for Charlotte. As time is winding down here. Overton tried to take it quickly. Alan Gavilanes with the goal. A couple more minutes before halftime. When we step aside, we'll highlight some of our statistical leaders this season. Also do a quick little preview of the matchup tomorrow. Oberton lets that one fly, but it was way too high. There's Gabriel Oberton, our player to watch. Solid the goal he scored against Tormenta last season. Kind of a solo effort from his part. It's a guy who's played in some big matches, played against some pretty impressive opponents. Gott plays it forward. Gets it right back from Johnson. Triumph currently leading 1-0, looking for their first playoff win since November 13th of 2021. That was a game they won in extra time over the Chattanooga Red Wolves 2-0. We're only gonna get 1 minute of stoppage time, brought to you by Novant Health. Independence will look to see if they can make this extra minute count. Oberton. Still with it. It's him and Tyler Pollock on the right-hand side. Oberton gets the cross off. Falls to him. Booyoo! It's knocked away by Mazzola. It'll be a Chick-fil-A corner kick. I'm not sure if that one was going to be on frame, but Mazzola not taking any chances. Look on the Accuvision LASIK replay. That went just over the head of Noah Frankie. Tracer Mbuya with another chance. So we've hit that minute of stoppage time. Ball comes in, headed away nicely. Ref checks his watch. Well, they're not going to throw it in because they took too much time. Thomas Snyder blows the halftime whistle, and it's that man who has separated the Greenville Triumph from the Charlotte Independents to start things off 1-0 in favor of John Harks' side after 45 minutes. And what a shot it was. A belter from beyond the 18, bangs off the crossbar, gets by Austin Pack, the save leader. So it's 45 more minutes to come, but before that, we have got the halftime break coming your way. We'll highlight the Golden Boot, the Golden Playmaker, the Golden Glove, and a lot more on this halftime show. But for now, we'll step aside on ESPN+.
Always reaching higher, pushing further, achieving remarkable. At Novant Health, we never stop. Because whether it's sports performance at the highest level or the playground level, we're driven to help you excel at what drives you. Not just keeping you healthy for the game, but also healthy for life. Novant Health. Expect remarkable.
Stand up, Independence fans. Take a break from squinting to see that tiny soccer ball bounce around that big field. Now take off your glasses, rub your eyes, put some eye drops on your contact lenses, or let my friends at Accuvision LASIK help you get that 20/20 vision you need to see the match in high def. Mention Independence and get $1,000 off LASIK. Go get the details right now at AccuvisionLASIK.com. That's AccuvisionLASIK.com.
Are you ready? Ready for more of the game you love? Ready for more players and more teams? Ready for more stadiums, for more fans in more cities? This is a different league. The USL Super League. Built for the future of women's soccer. bridging the journey from youth to pro, connected to the global game, and bringing it all closer to home. Are you ready?
Halftime here in downtown Charlotte, presented by Novant Health, the official healthcare provider of the Charlotte Independents. Well, we have some statistical awards to give out, so let's dive into the ones who scored more goals, saved more goals, and the whatnot. Starting with goals scored, of course, it's Trevor Ammon who wins the Golden Boot Award in the 2023 season. Had 5 goals and 4 assists last season, so needless to say, he improved on that tally this year. Was scoreless, though, in the first 3 games of the season. Then he came off the bench in the second half against Omaha, bagged a brace, which earned him a starting spot that he would never relinquish for the rest of the season, and was the start of a 7-goal tally in a 4-game stretch, which means once it got started, it wasn't stopping. He would collect 7 braces over the year and would only go one other 3-game stretch without scoring, and of course broke Emiliano Terzaghi's goal-scoring record in a single season of 18, so bested that by 5. Now, the Golden Playmaker winner is Arthur Rogers. He racked up 8 assists last season and collected Defender of the Year in 2022. Now Arthur has more than followed up that campaign with a record-tying 11 assists this go-around, tying the 2022 tally of Jonathan Bolaños. Now, I've talked about in the past the quote-unquote Arthur Rogers territory. Now, how's this for a stat? Of his 11 assists, 9 of them have come from set pieces. Add a goal onto that as well. Do not give the Hailstorm free kicks and corner kicks, or else the danger of Arthur Rogers and Trevor Ammon is going to shine through, both of them collecting the assist and goals tally each. This team knows how to score. Those 2 individuals especially know how to score, but Sean Lewis knows how to stop shots in a very competitive year as far as goalkeepers are concerned, including competing up against back-to-back Golden Glove winner Rashid Nuhu. It's a League One debutant winning the award this go-around. He had 8 clean sheets, 85 saves to show as the new starting goalkeeper in Knoxville after coming over from FC Tulsa in Indy 11 last season. In a year where goals were aplenty, Sean Lewis only allowed 3 goals in a match 1 time. Something Pack, Nuhu, Delgado, Shipman cannot boast, each of them having at least 3 different occasions where they allowed 3 or more goals through. Now, if you've seen the tape, here are the numbers to show up in the race in each of these categories. Ammon leaps and bounds ahead of the likes of Olex Anderson and Nates Diu, but both of them having fantastic seasons. Anderson hadn't quite gotten that goal-scoring stretch in years past in USL League One. He found it this year, still generating chances in the assists as well. And then Nates Diu showing up on the scene as a youngster. Meanwhile, in the assists category, Arthur Rogers kept himself ahead for most of the year, but Alan Gavilanes, Luis Heel, Tate Robertson, all at different stretches of the season were racking up assists and were trying to catch up with Rogers, but the Hailstorm player ended up, at the end of the day, being the victor in this regard. Then, as far as the Golden Glove is concerned, there are a lot of great goalkeepers this year, despite how many goals were scored. Delgado leads the way in clean sheets. Austin Pack, who's not even on this graphic, led the league in saves, but it was Sean Lewis, the one who ended up rounding out the pack. With that in mind, we're going to step aside. When we come back, we've got more halftime content coming for you here on ESPN+.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
North Carolina FC! And it's saved! And Liam McKinnon etches his name into the history books.
They hang on, and it's a new league record. They clinch their 5th straight playoff appearance,
and they solidify themselves a spot in the playoffs.
Always reaching higher, pushing further, achieving remarkable. At Novant Health, we never stop. Because whether it's sports performance at the highest level or the playground level, we're driven to help you excel at what drives you. Not just keeping you healthy for the game, but also healthy for life. Novant Health. Expect remarkable.
News and notes from around the league in USL League One on ESPN Plus here at halftime. First off, of course, extending our congratulations to Union Omaha, the first ever club to win a Player Shield for a second time in the league's short history. They'll be looking to be the first club to win the tournament for the second time in league history, but it's a lot of action on that side of things. But looking forward to next year, Katie Harnato, congratulations on being the club president of the Spokane Velocity. They'll be playing next season. It'll be fun to get another West Coast team into the mix. Meanwhile, speaking of West Coast teams, Sharif Dye winning Player of the Week in what was a wild match between Central Valley Fuego and the Richmond Kickers in Week 31. Only one player in this matchup this evening that's in the Team of the Week from Week 31, and that's Noah Pilato, but I think the players on both sides will be perfectly content knowing that they made it to the playoffs. And here is your bracket. It's not known whom the Jacks or the Triumph will play should they win this evening. They'll have to wait on the matchup tomorrow between the Hailstorm and the Mingos to figure out where they're going. So why don't we talk about that game tomorrow? You don't need to be watching anything else. Might as well tune into this game and see where your fate lies and also what happens between these two sides. They've matched up 3 times this season, and in those 3 matches, the Mingos have not scored a single goal, but now's as good a time as ever. Worth acknowledging that in these matchups, we did have a 0-0 draw, which showed Burnt Shipman and Lalo Delgado just showing their stuff as goalkeepers. A couple of fantastic saves on display here. A penalty save from Lalo Delgado, which we now have just displayed right here. Those keepers could both be a huge impact in the matchup tomorrow night. As we look at the team comparison, the stat lines, a lot of more goals for the Hailstorm in competition for the Players' Shield until the final week. Forward Madison just hanging on by a thread to make it into the playoffs. But once knockout soccer starts, who knows what could happen. And this Mingos team is talented, but of course, the numbers are going to favor Ayman Zayed's side. But there's only one way to find out who moves on, and that's to tune in tomorrow at 9 o'clock Eastern. Got 45 more minutes to go here in this game this evening. We're going to step aside. When we come back, we'll have the highlights, the stats, and the second half action here on ESPN+.
When it comes to delivering high quality, affordable health care, relationships matter. And after 90 years, we're proud of the relationships we've built with you, North Carolina. We're collaborating with leaders like Vici, supporting her efforts to help schools address the mental health needs of students, and foster care moms like Gail, working with her to ensure our state's most vulnerable children are thriving, and caregivers like Maya, partnering with her to improve maternal health. From lowering costs to building healthier communities, we are committed to improving the health and well-being of everyone across this state. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina is not your typical health insurer. We're 5,000 neighbors, friends, and family working hard to make healthcare affordable, easier to navigate, and accessible for all. North Carolina is our home. We're here for you, all of you.
Always reaching higher, pushing further, achieving remarkable. At Novant Health, we never stop. Because whether it's sports performance at the highest level or the playground level, we're driven to help you excel at what drives you. Not just keeping you healthy for the game, but also healthy for life. Novant Health. Expect remarkable.
We're at the caboose end of the halftime show, brought to you by Novant Health. 1-0 in favor of the Greenville Triumph over the Charlotte Independents. If you're just now tuning in, you missed the first 45. We've got you covered. Here are the halftime highlights, brought to you by Novant Health. Starting in the 8th minute of action, the Greenville Triumph on the road, visiting, asking the questions first. The Devon boys threading it forward to Jacob Lavovitz, who'd spray that one just wide. Austin Pack asking for the offside. You won't have any qualms here as far as offside are concerned, as his side pushes forward, tries to find the back of the net. Gabriel Oberton winds up, and that one sailing right. And then just a minute later, we would get one heck of a strike from Alan Gavilanes. This looks a lot like a Charlotte Independence goal. They win the ball back, push it forward. Fabrice Nga just gets that ball wrong, and then Alan Gavilanes gets that ball so right. Flying that one to the crossbar just outside the 18. Austin Pack in shock about what just happened, and that would be the differentiator between the two sides. But a couple of other moments, including this inventive move from Joel Johnson, but Trezor Mbuyu couldn't put it on frame. Tough challenge for him to do so there, as we look at the halftime stats brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Pretty even on shots, but so far Jared Mazzola has not been asked to make a big save yet, despite the fact that the Independents have held such a majority of the possession. It's really fallen to the way Greenville would like here. They're not giving the Independents those opportunities to break forward and transition. Instead, they've been the ones who have been authoring the counterattacks, and it was one of those counters where they were able to strike and take the lead. Once again, a look at your bracket. Should Greenville win this game and maintain the lead they have right now, they still don't know where they'd be going, because it'll depend on whether the Hailstorm or Forward Madison win tomorrow. If the Hailstorm win, that would mean that the winner of this game will go to Omaha. But if the Mingos pull off the upset, the winner of this match will stay on the East Coast and will go over to Cary, North Carolina to play North Carolina FC and their vaunted side, which I'm sure both of these sides would heavily prefer. Keep it in Carolina. So one big substitution to make note of here as we return back to the action. We've got Dane Kelly coming into the game in place of Fabrice Nga. Dane Kelly, the all-time leading scorer in United Soccer League history. So they're looking for someone to find that response goal. Dane Kelly, more than capable of being one of those guys. We welcome you back here for the second half of action here on ESPN Plus.
Number 2, Fabrice Nga. He's replaced by number 9, Dane Kelly, in the 45th minute.
Leo Castro steps forward, cuts inside, tries to shoot, and it's into the hands of Austin Pack. If you're just joining us once again, an Alan Gavilanes rifling shot. The 13th minute is what separates these two sides. Two coaches who are pretty nice with each other. Mike Jeffries and John Harkes, they keep in touch. Mike Jeffries said it's a great relationship, and of course both sides want good things for this league. John Harkes says it's easier to have this relationship when it stretches back to the MLS days. Mike Jeffries included that, yeah, we keep in touch during the season. You know, you send those congratulations for making the playoff texts, and said it's a competitive game, but we get along, and Mike Jeffries thinks highly of John Harkes. And Mbuyu pops this one up Johnson brings it down. Oberton tries to shoot. Cleared away by Frankie. Here's Flanagan, driving it forward. Avion Flanagan. Back to Ibarra. And he sends this one up. Captain play by Johnson, but Gavilanes is able to hoof that one down the pitch. And Mbuyu once again to Oberton. Gabriel Oberton! Great save by Mazzola. Our first big save of the evening for either keeper. Jared Mazzola diving for that one. Oberton unmarked at the top of the 18. Tries to tuck that in the bottom left corner, but Jared Mazzola, the youngster, able to knock it out for a Chick-fil-A corner kick. Taking his sweet time, Joel Johnson. Actually, it's Thomas Snyder that they're waiting on. Plays it in. And DA couldn't quite keep it down. And Coutinho clears it out, but Independence win it right back. Ibarra back to Spielman. And Mbuyu can't get by Jamie Smith. And it'll be a goal kick for the Triumph. The Lodgebach experience is all-inclusive with 16 tickets, catering, credit, parking, and all-season ticket member benefits. Be sure to secure the best seats in American Legion Memorial Stadium for the 2024 season at charlotteindependence.com. Jared Mazzola will be the one to put this one back into play from the goal kick. And I'll just switch ends of the pitch for Austin Pack. Talk a little bit about his saves venture at halftime and in the first half. More saves than any other keeper's ever had in a season. Ibarra brings this one down. And Oberton does what he could to play that forward for Mbuyu, but Mbuyu was planted. There's Gabriel Oberton. Big chance to start off this half. Boyce brings this one down, and we'll have to see if Greenville can enjoy in possession here. Charlotte trying to come back into this game and find their first win since November 6th, which was just a week prior to Greenville's last playoff win, November 6th, 2021. It was a 3-1 victory over Memphis in the USL Championship. It was here at American Legion Memorial Stadium. It was their only postseason win in club history. In that game, Joel Johnson scored the first goal in that matchup, still with the team. Also worth noting in that match, Austin Pack, Joel Johnson, Gabriel Oberton, and Dane Kelly all started. And on the bench for that Charlotte Independence team, get this, Valentin Sabella, who plays for the Hailstorm, and Irvin Parra, who also plays for the Hailstorm. Johnson takes a shot! And the Independents find their answer. And just like he scored in 2021, it's Joel Johnson again here tonight. It's 1-1 here between the Triumph and the Jacks. Falls to his feet and stretches that into the side netting. Joel Johnson with his 7th goal of the season Goal brought to you by Botero Carts. Brings this game back to one apiece. And it's been all Charlotte to start off here in the second half. And Greenville finds some sort of answer here now. Basically been bracing themselves for this first 5 or so minutes. Pilato. Back to Boyce. Scavallania is 2-on-1 over here. Finds Pilato. He'll switch the action. Castro gives it to Frankie, who returns the favor. Leo Castro earns a corner kick for his side. And Greenville test Austin Pack immediately after conceding. Joel Johnson, the longest appeared player in Charlotte Independence history. No one's played more matches than him. Has a big goal here now this evening. Cavallaniez plays it in. Punched away by Pack. Boyce with the touch brings it down. Pilato gets by one man. Gets a return back to him. It's cleared away by Flanagan. Pollock does well to nod that one forward. Smith. Play doesn't stop for a handball. It's headed downward. Labovitz tried to split the defenders. And now Flanagan has to hurry this one out. Quickly taken in by Charlotte. Cavallaniez chips this upward, and Labovitz can't get there in time. Austin Pack was able to get to that one before it got dangerous. But speaking of danger, here's Gabriel Oberton. Oberton connects with Kelly. Dane Kelly from distance! It sails over. Dane Kelly winding up from well beyond. Has over 100 goals scored in his career in the United Soccer League. No one has scored more often than that man has. So if anyone has the license to wind up from 25 plus yards out, it's Dane Kelly. Super League Carolina kicks off in August 2024, bringing Division I women's professional soccer to the Western Carolinas. Help choose the club's official team name. Scan the QR code on the screen and place your vote for either the Carolina Ascent or the Carolina Breeze. Voting is open today through October 27th. Follow Super League Carolina on social media for updates, news, announcements, and more. As Ibarra plays this one in, headed upward. Now Sis, over to Flanagan. Avion Flanagan shoots! And Mazzola had to get both hands on that one. These opening 10 minutes have been all Charlotte. Avion Flanagan was scored a nice goal on this very end of the pitch earlier this season and followed it up with an excellent backflip. He's trying to make it a second one here. This Chick-fil-A corner kick features several blue jerseys packed inside the 6-yard box. Headed on, still up in the air. And Smith is blasting that one out of the fray. So we're gonna get our first substitution for John Harkes' side. And it's one of those players we highlighted before the game, Evan Lee coming in for Lucas Coutinho, which should free Noah Pilato to go further up the pitch. That substitution brought to you by Atlas Chiropractic. Coutinho also on a yellow card, the only booking of the game thus far. But Lee will sit into that holding midfielder spot. Noah Pilato will now have the ability to push further forward. And DA to Oberton. Johnson floats this one up. And oh my goodness! That one going off the left post somehow didn't go in. A floated crossing effort from Joel Johnson ends up drifting towards goal. Mazzola didn't expect it to be on frame. Here's Johnson again. Oberton tried to square it in, and it'll be another Chick-fil-A corner kick. Here's a look at that cross/shot from Johnson again. The margins here. Thin margins. Avion Flanagan on this Chick-fil-A corner kick will provide the service. End up going outward. Polak launches that one down the field. No one's around it for Greenville, so Austin Pack, well beyond his penalty area, will distribute it. Sis playing it forward. Kelly pops it over to Oberton. Leaves it for Ibarra. Miguel Ibarra back over to Oberton. He keeps it in play! It's flicked upward. Joel Johnson used his back heel earlier. He's trying to really pull one out of the hat here. Just one veteran connecting to another veteran, connecting to another. Joel Johnson, the goal scorer there in this match. This is a 183rd appearance in a Charlotte Independence jersey, at least in league play. Scoring a goal here. No one has donned the kit more often than him. If you're traveling to Charlotte to see an Independence game, make sure you stay at the Hyatt Place downtown. The Hyatt Place is just minutes away from the stadium and is around countless dining options. Hyatt Place downtown, the official hotel of the Charlotte Independence. Pack has to be good with the ball here. Smith heads it over to Frankie. Plays it to Boyce. Evan Boyce with a couple of hesitations. Will not get back to Jamie Smith. Pilato. Frankie drives it inside and just out of the reach of Pilato. Polak trying to wind up for a shot. Pilato again loses his footing. Ibarra gets checked down by Evan Lee, and he subbed in for the only yellow card receiver of the game, and now he gets one of his own, brought to you by 11 Lakes. Just his third yellow card of the season, Evan Lee. Not a guy who finds himself in those situations often. On the topic of substitutions, John Harkes was telling me this week that a lot of thought always goes into those decisions. He said you don't always get it right, but he'd say him and his staff have done a really good job and have been pretty on point with it for most of the season and throughout the years. He made sure to extend some gratefulness to those guys on the bench beside him who help him account for all the variables that go in to making the subs, who to take in, who to take out, and when to do it. Such an art form. And here's a chance for the Jacks. Kelly turning around, tries to go again. Spielman tips it to Flanagan. Johnson slides it over to Sis. Good step. Omar Sis off the left post. The 22-year-old, oh so close to giving his side the lead. The Independents are clicking right now. They smell some blood in the water. He had Mazzola beat, just grazed away. And on this Chick-fil-A corner kick, Jared Mazzola gets fouled. The USL League One playoffs continue with the semifinals October 28th on ESPN+. Who will reach the final? Find out when the 2023 season concludes with the USL League One final November 5th on ESPN2. You'll have Josh Eastern and Ricky Lopez-Espin giving you all the action that evening. Of course, a shout out to League One producer Brady Kujama, who will be on the control board end of things there, as he is this evening as well. A man who wears many hats, both literally and figuratively. Castro to Boyce. Boyce steps to his left. Devin Boyce still with it to Gavilanes. Alan Gavilanes squares it inside, and Pack, looking like a tight end, gets that one over Leo Castro. Austin Pack donning a hairstyle much different from what he was flaunting in college at UNC Charlotte. Had a good head of hair then. Excited for the more clean-cut look now. Oberton looking for Kelly. Kelly back to Oberton. Johnson steps by Castro. Joel Johnson. A couple players go down. Kelly is quicker to get up onto his feet, but then Pollock ends up getting the best of that transaction. Two veterans, Tyler Pollock and Dane Kelly, going at it there, and then Joel Johnson pushing over Alan Gavilanes. Scored the leveling goal in this game, Joel Johnson. Mike Jeffrey said he loves him. Came on as a trialist in 2016. Said he had to fight to make the team. And ended up being an invaluable piece to him that year. He's technical, super athletic, can play in multiple spots, but also a super upbeat guy. Really thoughtful about the game too, Joel Johnson. And when he notified Mike Jeffries he wanted to come back, they were happy to welcome him back this year. Coming over from Hartford Athletic. Him and Austin Pack in that regard. Gavilanes. That ball finding nobody. Sis connects with Ndiaye. Bashir Ndiaye, his first year as a pro. Plays it over to Kelly. Ndiaye to Sis. 20 minutes have transpired here in the second half. A goal from Joel Johnson has leveled this game up, and Charlotte have looked all the more potent side. Oberton with the turn. Still working on Boyce. And Mbuyu gets that one to glance off of Jamie Smith for another corner kick.
Here comes another Chick-fil-A corner kick. Number 8, Joel Johnson, taking it for the Academy.
Joel Johnson will trot over there to take this one. This Chick-fil-A corner kick. Some of them this evening have been taken by Avion Flanagan, at least. Actually, most of them have been taken by Flanagan. Mazzola punches that one away. Hits his right fist on it. Now we've got a player down for Greenville. Appears to be Jamie Smith, who has had to fight back from injury this season. Which is not a good sign for the Greenville Triumph. Since he's been healthy, he has stormed into the starting lineup. It looks like he just got caught. John Harks says his intelligence on the field is fantastic. He has a great feel for the game. He's just a gritty player. And oh so effective on set pieces. That's John Harks' words describing Jamie Smith. I also mentioned that he's a great talker, and that helps his dynamic with the likes of Brandon Fricke, Evan Lee, Tyler Polak, other veterans who are great communicators. And as a fan, you can always have a soft spot for a player who fights back from being hurt for so long and unable to play. So while they check up on him, Cavallania is getting a bit of a boot change here. Make sure you keep those. They scored a pretty fantastic goal in the first half.
Want to be the first to know about the jersey releasing important announcements and unmatched soccer experiences during our 10th anniversary celebrations next year? Join our email list at
Jamie Smith. Still up on his feet. Son of Dean Smith, who managed at Norwich. Came on as a trialist and earned a contract last year with the Greenville Triumph. So look at Mike Jeffries conversing with his coaching staff. He's got to like what he's seen from his side here in the second 45. But it won't mean anything if they can't find that second goal to take the lead. So Smith back up on his feet, which is a great sign, but still ailing, it appears. And he'll have to wait to be waved back onto the game. So we'll get a drop ball from our head official, Thomas Snyder. It's worth noting to remember this segment of the match when we get to the point for stoppage time. Charlotte fans, when you need to rehydrate after a workout, run, or a soccer game, trust Gatorade. Gatorade keeps the Independence game ready all the time, so they're always ready to take the field. Acosta floats that one up, and Ndie couldn't get on the end of it. Bashir Ndie, a guy who's come on here at the end of the season. I mentioned him and Fabrice and God, two guys who have played a least amount of minutes. Now we're in the starting 11. The guy that the Charlotte team really liked in the preseason. He was really proving himself, but then you get an injury and you got to bring him back slowly. Misses 3 months due to that injury. And you got to play catch-up in your first every year as a pro, and Mike Jeffries says that's really hard for any player, let alone a kid in his first season. Cavallaniez trying to get by his man, gets the cross off. Frankie pops this one back in. Ibarra heads it to Pack, and he can play it forward. Continuing my thought about Ndie. Mentioned it's a guy who, once he gets healthy, everybody else has months of a head start. But he's done really well to catch up with them and get back up to speed. Here he's on the ball now, number 27. Mentioned his defensive intensity is great. He blocks shots, reads the game well. And he's connecting passes well, and that aspect is improving game by game. It's one of the players that he highlighted when I asked him about which players he's seen the most improvement from this season, and he had a couple of names to give me. But in DA, he was very happy with, given the circumstances of how little time he's been able to play this year. Certainly wasn't the plan going into the season. Castro driving it forward. Connects with Labovitz. Labovitz floats it over to Frankie. Noah Frankie has Boyce back. He gives it to him. Now Pilato can't get it by. Omar Sis. Too tough a prospect to beat. Now in DA, still going, gets taken down. And that's probably a booking for Noah Pilato. It'll be his 4th yellow card of the season. Brought to you by 11 Lakes.
Gentlemen, your attention please. The referee has issued an 11 Lakes Brewing Company yellow card to Greenville Triumphs number 5.
Preventing a breakaway opportunity for the Jacks there. Noah Pilato grabbing the jersey of Bashir and DA. Does slow things down here, though. And DA plays it forward for Ibarra. It's Oberton now with the outside of his boot. It's Ibarra again. He shoots, it deflects upward. Oberton! The Jacks have the lead. It's the veteran Frenchman, Gabriel Oberton, who pops that one into the back of the net.
By number 56, Gabriel Oberton.
Here's a look at this transaction again. Miguel Ibarra finds Oberton, and he dishes it right back. You see him run around. He tracks that ball in the air and then hits it so cleanly. The volley into the side netting for Gabriel Oberton gives his side the advantage. He's able to keep that ball down on the volley. Jared Bazzola goes upward, and Oberton keeps it down. Goal number 4 on the year for the Frenchman. He's played at places that soccer players dream of playing. Came up through the youth teams with PSG, Bordeaux, Clairefontaine. Now, if you don't know where Clairefontaine is, it's just a club that's happened to produce the likes of Thierry Henry, Giroud, Kylian Mbappe. I'm sure you know those names. A surgent second half for the Charlotte Independents finds them in the lead. You see John Harkes immediately dipping his hand into the bag to try to figure out how they're going to find that response. Two longtime Independence players, Gabriel Oberton and the long time player, and Joel Johnson. It's Oberton's 12th goal as an Independence player. And now it's 2 years in a row he has scored in the postseason, both of which giving his team the lead at the time of scoring them. So Pilato is taken down there, and a free kick awarded by Thomas Snyder. And now we got 3 substitutions in for John Harkes, all of which happening now. You can see Liam McKinnon coming in for Noah Frankie. You'll see Aaron Walker One of the players we highlighted in our open, subbing in for Devin Boyce. Had the assist earlier today in Greenville's goal. And then Nate Schultz will come in for Jamie Smith, who picked up the knock earlier. Of those three, the one I would say is the most likely to score, Ryan McKinnon, 7 goals on the season, including his record-breaking 4-goal match against the Red Wolves. Those substitutions all brought to you by Atlas Chiropractic. No changes for Mike Jeffries after taking the lead.
Substitution, Greenville Triumph SC. Leaving the pitch, number 4, Jamie Smith. Number 11, Devin Boyce. And number 13, Noah Frankie. They're replaced by number 8,
Oberton plays it forward for Mbuyu. Tries to wind her around Pilato. Independence not about to let up here. Not with personnel changes and not in their approach to attacking. They'll continue to push it forward. They've liked the way things have transpired here in the second half. Sis. Switch the point of attack. Brought down by Mbuyu. It's a Ibarra now. Flanagan sprints forward. Avion Flanagan gets by Schultz. Flanagan! It's all Charlotte in the second half. Avion Flanagan dances and glides and slides in the bottom right corner.
In the 79th minute by number 7,
What a second half of action for the Jacks. They had possession, they had the shots in the first half, but it's all come together here in the second 45. Just a neat little step from Flanagan to shake off Nate Schultz. And he takes that split-second chance and threads the needle. A lot of bodies in the 18, but Avion Flanagan didn't need to glance any of them. That goal brought to you by Botero Carts. Second of the season for Flanagan. Both of his goals, both against that very net. And now it's emergency time for the Greenville Triumph. With about 10 minutes plus stoppage time to go, they're staring elimination in the face. After the old heads have gone in on the goal scoring, Joel Johnson and Gabriel Oberton, 24-year-old Avion Flanagan said, "Let me get in on the party." From Baltimore, Maryland, last played with the Charleston Battery. Flanagan been an electric player this season. Ricky will play it back to Mazzola. Grab some new gear for the next Independence game with scarves, hats, shirts, and more. We have merch for every Independence fan. Head over to store.charlotteindependence.com to find your next piece of Jack's gear. Labovitz gets that one poked away from him. Time ticking away for Leo Castro and the Greenville Triumph. This is when they need the leadership of the likes of Castro and Walker to really shine through here A true leader is what John Harks called Leo Castro. Real team-first guy. But it may take an individual effort to spark things forward here for the Triumph. Greenville throw-in. Ever wanted to see a professional locker room or hang out with a pro player? Here's your chance. Our group outings will give everyone an unforgettable night with a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Visit charlotteindependence.com for more details for the 2024 season. Labovitz. Forward. Mike Jeffries has 2 switches on the docket here. Looking to see this one to its end and move on to their first ever USL League One semifinal. Schultz has that one glance off of Flanagan, the latest goal scorer in this affair. And those substitutions will come into play now. Corey Bennett in for Miguel Ibarra. And then Brad Dunwell will step in, and stepping out will be Gabriel Oberton, who scored what is right now the game-winning goal. This substitution brought to you by Atlas Chiropractic. He was our player to watch to come into the game, and he will be our man of the match, presented by Oaklore Distilling as he walks off the pitch. The Frenchman scoring a goal in this game. He scored last season. He also scored in a final in Bulgaria for Levski Sofia that helped that team win the final that year in 2018, May 24th. So not unfamiliar with big goals. The big man, Gabriel Oberton. And then Corey Bennett also making an entrance, the Atlas Chiropractic and Wellness substitution. Pilato holds things up here. Plays it over to Gavilanes. He drives in that ball. It spits out. Castro trying to serve it back in. That one looked to go off the hand of Bennett. Quickly retaken. Walker, one of the substitutions. Longtime Triumph player. Connects with Gavilanes. And he couldn't get his foot around that one. He'll sail out for a goal kick. Super League Carolina kicks off in August 2024, bringing Division I women's professional soccer to the Western Carolinas. Help choose the club's official team name, scan the QR code on the screen, and place your vote for either the Carolina Ascent or the Carolina Breeze. Voting is open today through October 27th. Follow Super League Carolina on social media for updates, news, announcements, and more, leading up to the club's full brand reveal later this fall. Hefty collision there. Aaron Walker came flying in and hit the back of the head of Brad Dunwell. Immediately, Thomas Snyder waving on. Aaron Walker donning the captain's armband once subbing into the game. Just came in late. Brad Dunwell from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Last played for Detroit City FC. One has to get tended to. Meanwhile, Aaron Walker in his 5th year with the Greenville Triumph, trying to see if he can scrap together a comeback effort. That substitution, that yellow card brought to you by 11 Lakes. Meanwhile, Benton Evans is getting ready to sub into the match. Getting to the point where all offensive firepower is getting thrown out onto the field for John Harks. now that substitution look to be executed. Venton Evans will step in. Jacob Blavovitz will take his place. That substitution brought to you by Atlas Chiropractic and Wellness. Venton Evans, it's his first appearance since September 9th. So it's been over a month since Evans has trotted out onto the pitch. But if you've been watching USL League One over the past few years, you've seen Venton Evans do some nasty things with the ball at his feet. And Greenville needs all of that here. A pair of wipeouts between Polak and Mbuyu. Pilato will find Evans. He'll connect with Schultz. To Lyon McKinnon. He gets that one knocked out of his clutches. Now it's Evans again. Sends the cross in, and it will glance over top. Austin Pack has not been required to make any fantastic saves anytime recently. After a season full of fantastic diving efforts, he wouldn't mind if things remained copacetic for the rest of this affair and they can waltz their way on to the next round of the postseason. I'm sure their intentions are to sit at home tomorrow, watch the hailstorm in Madison duke it out, and then learn about where they'll be traveling. I'm sure as big fans of forward Madison, it's a much shorter trip to Cary than to Papillion, Nebraska. And not that a proposition of playing North Carolina FC is super great, but I don't think anyone really wants to be playing Union Omaha right now, especially on their turf. The further you can postpone that prospect, the better. Gavilanes to Polak. He pokes that forward for Gavilanes, but traversed a little too much distance there. Time ticking away here at American Legion Memorial Stadium. A goal in the 13th minute, a fantastic goal in the 13th minute by Alan Gavilanes gave the Triumph the lead, but ever since the second half has gotten underway, the Charlotte Independents have been all over this affair. And the scoreline very much shows it. And there it is, 6 minutes of stoppage time, brought to you by Novant Health. Now things may seem pretty dim for the Greenville Triumph at this time, but it's worth noting the last time these two teams played in stoppage time in the first half, Leo Castro scored twice for the Greenville Triumph. Now that was at Paladin Stadium. That was in the regular season. This is a whole different animal, but there is precedent. McKinnon with the deflection, gets a corner kick. We'll be looking for the likes of Leo Castro, Venton Evans, Lyon McKinnon, Aaron Walker, all standing at 6 foot and higher. Evan Lee, 6'3". Gavilanes with the Reaper belling behind his head. Ball comes in! It's in the back of the net. There's still a glimmer of hope for the Greenville Triumph. Not sure if that made contact with anybody inside the 18. Let's get a replay. Here's another look at it. I don't think that hit anybody. I think Austin Pack misses it, and it had just enough bend on it that from the service from Alan Gavilanes, it splits the posts and goes in. I think when they look at that Alan Gavilanes might be accredited with that one, which would give him a brace, but of course we'll wait for the official status on that one. But that's where my head's at. Buckle up, 3 more minutes to go. Evans to McKinnon. And we've got another corner kick. Thomas Snyder trying to keep the peace inside the 18. Still about 3 minutes to go in this game. The Greenville Triumph fighting for survival. Ball's in the fray. Johnson clears it out, but a whistle is blown. Aaron Walker, I believe, checking into Johnson there. May have been Brandon Fricke. He's the one who helped him up, and now some testy words being thrown back at each other.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, practical level substitution for your champions. Leaving the pitch, number 11,
and it was Brandon Fricke. Another substitution for the Independents. Shalom Duty steps into the match for Tracer Mbuyu. This substitution brought to you by Atlas Chiropractic and Wellness. Duty, a center back, stepping in for the striker in Tracer Mbuyu. Looking to fortify and hang on for 2 more minutes. This one played forward. Fought for there, but Polak, the one on the ball now. Gavilanes gets brought down by Johnson, and he gets a yellow card. First booking of the day on any Independence player. Joel Johnson with his 6th yellow of the season. 1 more minute to go. Evans didn't keep that one in play, so it'll be a Jack's throw. Pollock does what he can to keep it in play. Lee launches it down the pitch, but it's into the hands of Austin Pack, and he'll chew out more of this clock. Austin Pack punts it downfield. Lee wins the header, but at the expense of possession, and another chance for the Independents to chew away at this clock. Thomas Snyder not looking at his watch. The opportunity for the Triumph dwindling away here. Polak sends it upward, chested down, it's Evans. Evans forward to Castro. Leo Castro into the corner. He's got Gavilanes back, he gives it to him. Gavilanes, not a lot of room to work with. Gets in across, headed away. Nate Schultz misses it. Corey Bennett's on it now. Bennett gets it around the corner. It's not over yet. Lee to Schultz. Service comes in. It's upward. Castro goes over the crossbar. And there you have it. The Jacks are racing on into their first ever USL League One semifinal. Mike Jeffrey's side with a resurgent second half prevail. Required some late game teeth grinding, but they've made it through and now await the results tomorrow to see where they're going next weekend. It started with a goal from Joel Johnson. Gabriel Oberton made it 3-1. And then Avion Flanagan, which would end up being the game-winning goal, would wrap things up here. Here's our play of the match. It would be that second goal by Gabriel Oberton. Your Paycor play of the match. Made it 2-1. Really signified just how well Charlotte was playing in the second half. And now for your save of the match, brought to you by Orange Theory. Castro gets the shot off, and Austin Pack, who has made so many saves this season, made easy business of that one. And that's how this one will wrap up here. That is how things wrap up here. Your final score, Charlotte 3, Greenville 2. We'll step aside. We have post-game thoughts coming up on the other end of this break.
Always reaching higher, pushing further, achieving remarkable. At Novant Health, we never stop. Because whether it's sports performance at the highest level or the playground level, we're driven to help you excel at what drives you. Not just keeping you healthy for the game, but also healthy for life. Novant Health. Expect remarkable.
Are you ready? Ready for more of the game you love? Ready for more players and more teams? Ready for more stadiums, for more fans in more cities? This is a different league. The USL Super League. Built for the future of women's soccer. Bridging the journey from youth to pro, connected to the global game, and bringing it all closer to home. Are you ready?
We welcome you back here for post-game coverage as Gabriel Oberton high-fives the fans in attendance. A 3-2 victory for the Charlotte Independents at American Legion Memorial Stadium. Mark Schoenster here on ESPN Plus with you. Let's take a look at the highlights from 90-plus minutes of action. Well, it was a fun affair. Highlights brought to you by Novant Health. Starting in the 13th minute, it would be the Triumph who would score first, and gets that one all wrong, and then Gavilanes hits it so perfectly. Austin Pack did not stand a chance to stop that one. An excellent start to this game, and Greenville feeling very good going into the break. But the second half started, and boy, did the Jacks take over. Joel Johnson receives it, takes the shot, and just out of the reach of Jared Mazzola. And then in the 74th minute, it'd be Oberton, our play of the match, and our player of the match, would exchange with Miguel Ibarra. One veteran shoots, and then another veteran puts it away oh so elegantly. Would make it 2-1 on the evening, giving them the lead for the first time. And then just moments later, Avion Flanagan would solidify that advantage. Does so well here to shake off Schultz. and then skips it to the bottom right-hand side, which would give his team a lead that they would not relinquish even if it came awfully close to being 3-3. But before it could be 3-3, it had to be 3-2. This corner kick gets by everybody. Austin Pack misjudges it and would make it 3-2, but that would be the last goal of the match, much to the delight of the Charlotte Independents. Here are your Chick-fil-A full-time stats. You see here, the disparity going into the halftime break was 6 shots to 5 in favor of Charlotte. So you do the math, that's 14 shots in the second half. 13 shots, doing that quick math in my head as we look at the playoff bracket now. Worth mentioning, they reseed going into the second round, so this is operating on the assumption that the higher seed wins in the other matchup in the Hailstorm. So if the Mingos win, then Charlotte stays in state and plays their rivals, North Carolina FC, which I think they'd love to get a crack at. But with that in mind, that's just how we sit at the very moment. We've got more playoff action tomorrow, 9 o'clock Eastern. The Hailstorm playing host to Forward Madison. But for our broadcast tonight, our broadcasting crew, my name is Mark Schoenster. We thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow. You better be tuning in. Should be a good time. But until then, have a fantastic night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.